The Friday evening crowd buzzed inside a cozy family-style diner just outside Boston, Massachusetts. Waitresses balanced trays of burgers and milkshakes while the jukebox hummed softly in the corner. Families filled the booths, kids chattered, and the smell of fresh apple pie lingered in the air. At a corner booth sat Daniel Hayes, a 38-year-old CEO of a successful real estate firm. His crisp suit and polished shoes stood out in the casual diner, but tonight wasn't about business. Across from him sat his 6-year-old daughter, Emily, twirling a straw in her chocolate milkshake. Daniel had raised Emily alone since his wife passed away 3 years earlier. He gave her the best schools, the safest home, and every comfort money could buy. Yet despite his efforts, Emily often seemed lonely. Tonight was supposed to be their daddy-daughter night, but Daniel couldn't ignore the way Emily kept glancing toward the waitress serving nearby tables. The waitress was Mia Thompson, 28 years old, with her chestnut hair tied in a ponytail and a warm smile that seemed to light up every table she visited. Her uniform was simple, blue apron, white shirt, but there was something motherly in the way she crouched to talk to kids or remembered regulars' names. When Mia came over to their booth, she greeted them kindly. "Hi, sweetheart," she said to Emily, crouching to her eye level. "What can I get you tonight? Another milkshake?" Emily's eyes brightened. She nodded shyly. Daniel watched, amused. "I think one milkshake is enough for tonight," he teased. As Mia laughed softly, Emily suddenly blurted out, her small voice cutting through the diner noise. "Can you be my mommy?" The table went silent. Daniel froze, his fork suspended mid-air. Mia blinked, stunned, as the little girl looked up at her with earnest, hopeful eyes. Daniel's throat tightened. He felt the eyes of nearby diners on them, their heads turning toward the dramatic question. He quickly reached for Emily's hand. "Sweetheart, that's not something you can just ask." But Emily tugged at Mia's apron. "Please, you're really nice. Daddy works all the time, and I just want a mommy." Mia's heart squeezed. She had served countless families in this diner, but no one had ever said words that raw and honest to her. She looked at Daniel, whose face was pale with shock. I'm sorry," Mia stammered. "Kids say things." But Emily's eyes welled with tears. "You smiled at me like my mommy used to." Daniel swallowed hard, guilt washing over him. He had built an empire, yet in that moment he realized his daughter was missing something he could never buy. The rest of the meal was awkward. Daniel tried to distract Emily with talk of school and cartoons, but the little girl's question lingered in the air. Mia finished serving nearby tables, but her gaze kept drifting back to the booth. She could still hear Emily's trembling voice. "Can you be my mommy?" When it was time to leave, Daniel stood to pay the bill. Emily clutched Mia's hand tightly. "Don't forget me," she whispered. Mia knelt, smoothing Emily's hair. "Sweetheart, I could never forget you." Her voice broke slightly. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He sat in his penthouse apartment overlooking Boston Harbor, replaying the scene. For years, he had believed giving Emily luxury would protect her from pain, but his daughter's longing had shattered that illusion. He realized she didn't need more toys or vacations. She needed love, real love. The next morning, Daniel made a decision. Instead of heading to the office, he drove back to the diner. Mia was there, tying her apron behind the counter. "Mia," he began nervously, "about last night, Emily didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I also can't ignore how deeply it came from her heart. Would you maybe join us for a walk in the park sometime? As friends?" Mia hesitated. She wasn't used to CEOs asking her out, much less in such a vulnerable way. But she remembered Emily's pleading eyes. Slowly she nodded. "Okay, as friends." That afternoon, the three of them walked through Boston Common. Emily fed ducks at the pond, while Daniel and Mia sat on a bench. He opened up about losing his wife, about the crushing guilt of working long hours. Mia, in turn, shared how she had once dreamed of becoming a teacher. But life's struggles forced her into diner shifts to support her younger siblings. There was no glamour, no champagne, no grand gestures, just honest conversation under the autumn trees. And for the first time in years, Daniel felt human again, not just a CEO. Emily ran back, laughing, clutching a duck feather. "Look, Daddy! Look, Mia!" she shouted, waving it proudly. The way she said Mia already sounded like family. Weeks turned into months. Mia became a regular part of their lives, helping Emily with school projects, cooking simple dinners, reminding Daniel to slow down and actually live. The more time they spent together, the more Daniel realized Mia wasn't just filling a gap for Emily. She was healing him too. One snowy December evening, after dinner at the diner where it all began, Daniel knelt beside Emily. "Sweetheart, remember when you asked Mia to be your mommy?" Emily's eyes widened. "Yes." Daniel turned to Mia, his voice soft. "I think she already is. Mia, will you marry me?" Tears welled in Mia's eyes as she nodded. Emily squealed, wrapping her arms around them both. The diner erupted in cheers from staff and customers who had witnessed their journey. And so, the little girl's innocent question, "Can you be my mommy?" became the beginning of a new family, built not on wealth or power, but on love.